plans based on 2015 Medicare enrollment data. Walgreens participates with other plans. See walgreens.com/Medicare for details.
Can you sing like that? Can you sing like that?
No, I
Mary
certainly
Anthony?
cannot.
I
cannot. I love it, but no one wants to hear me if I do.
I want to be that person. That's a pretty voice, but younger life. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Another great installment of Younger Life Live. Big round of applause for everybody in the studio. Come on. Hi, I'm Rick Federique.
I'm Mary Anthony.
And I'm Katie Sarver.
Hi, Katie. How are you? Big round of applause. Katie's in the house.
Katie's visiting today.
And she's got gifts for you. Younger Life, of course, is a great new program here on Girard Media's WIMS. We stream it around the world. Mary Anthony, you know how many people were bonding with us yesterday?
Yes,
and
I had a lot of positive feedback.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
fun.
I have to say hi to Jeremy, who's listening at work right now. I have
It's
to
his
say hi.
birthday today.
Happy
birthday, honey. It's my husband.
Birthday spankings.
Oh, yeah.
Younger Life Live, keeping us younger.
That's right.
Get off my back. Don't even go there, B. All right. You could go to youngerlife.org/live right now if you're listening to the radio station and actually see you.
And you.
And you.
Yeah.
And you and you and you.
Yep.
This is so great to be here. Today we're going to talk a little bit about a topic that may affect us all. And maybe not, for some of us, but it is what? What are we talking about today there?
It's a little more serious. We're talking about beating the winter blues.
And
Everybody gets a little bit of that, I suppose. A little antsy in the winter. It gets darker earlier.
Absolutely.
It's harder to get outside and do things.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. And winter blues, we kind of see that as maybe a little bit of mild depression, lack of motivation for the things that you normally have motivation for. And then, of course, a lower energy level, which is normally what we see with the majority of people who would say, I just have the winter blues. So, but I do want to say, if at any time you feel like it might be a little bit more than just the winter blues, you definitely should seek some help from your physician or your healthcare provider.
okay,
Definitely,
so
yes.
someone, Mary Anthony, that's listening right now to the radio station here at WIMS AM 1420, streaming us live, or maybe watching us on Younger Life, of course, YoungerLife.org/live. Katie Sarver, tell us a little bit about yourself. No stranger to our community and, of course, to a number of people around the country, but tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Yeah. So I work for IU Health LaPorte Hospital. I've been with the organization for 5 years now. I absolutely love it. I'm the manager of health promotion, and I have a very small department, but essentially we are out in the community nonstop, providing free screenings, providing children's programming such as our Little Fish Club. We're doing presentations. We're on the radio.
Woo, yeah.
We're just out and about. We collaborate with different departments within our organization, such as our marketing team and our foundation, and it's really awesome because we are truly able to give back to our community and really, really focus on the mission of our organization, which is to improve the health of our patients and communities. So I'm lucky because I feel like every single day I get to go to work and I get to help somebody. And every time that I come home from work, my husband always says, so how many people did you help today? And
Nice.
it's
That's
cute
nice.
because, that's just kind of like our segue into what happened in my day. And so I'm very fortunate to be able to have a position like that. And being able to be here today just to chat with you guys about battling the winter blues, fighting them, all the positive things that can come from winter in and of itself, and not really thinking about all of the negative stuff. I'm going to say it. I love the snow. So,
I do too.
Sorry.
I thought today was gorgeous.
Yes.
Not the most fun, to drive, and it wasn't that slippery, but I did see a couple slide offs and stuff.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And you're going to see
Slowed
that
me
every
down a
time,
little.
right?
You know what I
Yes.
mean? It definitely
Yes.
slowed me down a little, but it was beautiful.
Yes.
And nice that it wasn't below zero. I mean, I told my kids walking out, of course, put your hat, put everything on, but it feels a lot warmer
It's
than
like
it
a
has.
heat
It's spring and
wave.
summer, like
It
in the
feels-
Midwest
yeah,
America.
yeah.
Exactly.
I'm loving it.
It was nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my husband actually this morning went out. We have cows, and he went.
They
to-
have cows.
We
Oh,
have
cool.
cows.
I
Yeah.
love
Whoa.
that.
Move over. Let Katie
that's
Sama
right,
take over. Come on, Mama.
He said, "Hey, the water wasn't frozen this morning." Like, I mean, how exciting is
Yeah.
that, right? So, and it's like a heat wave. It really is like a heat wave out there. So, yeah. But we have lots of awesome stuff to talk about today, I think.
And one of the things I want to throw out there on a serious note, I'll give you a great example. My morning starts every morning before I do my radio show. And it's about 1:40 when I leave the house. I wake up and I'm usually out between 1:40 and 2 a.m. every day because I do mornings. And I have a very long commute from the suburbs of Chicago into Northwest Indiana. And then, of course, up into Michigan after the show. And, of course, this show is interlocked in between. But one of the coolest things, I was thinking about, craziness and the winter blues. And I was thinking about this topic and Mary Anthony and her family and my family and Katie Sarver and the group at IU Health. And I thought, wow, picture perfect day with the flat snowflakes. It put me into such a killer vibe. It was snowing by my home. I was shoveling the back end of the driveway, and there's 4 cars because there's 4 drivers. So I was getting all the snow off of all the vehicles. And I said, my gosh, and it put me into such a mellow, mode. I thought it's great, but I can see how the weather, a lot of my friends, all age groups, the young teens, the 20-somethings, the millennials, all the way up through your wisest of years, those folks that may be retired, the blues do affect folks, and you and I were chatting about that.
Absolutely. I do think it's absolutely a serious thing, and people shouldn't feel bad about it. Those people that do feel down, and I've known people at all age levels too. I think it's harder when, especially if you are active, and maybe if you are retired and stuff, maybe it's harder for you to get out when it's so cold, or you're locked in the house a lot more, and it is darker longer. You know what I mean? So that's tougher too. The sunlight makes a huge difference. Obviously, vitamin D, that we get from the sun affects so many things, right? I mean,
absolutely.
Our moods and everything. So I could see why it is such a difficult time for some people.
Sure. Well, and sunlight and exercise are both mood boosters for people. So, like today, it's not really all that sunny, but there's some brightness out there.
Right.
So, getting out and just enjoying that is definitely healthy for you. But going back to when Rick said I was out there shoveling and I felt good. Well, Rick, hey, did you know that you were getting some exercise in this morning?
I'm all about that exercise.
Yeah.
And so, and that, the exercise, that's going to boost those happy endorphins, and mood. It's a mood booster for you. So exercise is definitely one thing that we would recommend that you attempt to find a way to do, and it doesn't have to be necessarily outside, but we do have a lot of parks around the area that do shovel paths during the winter, so you can actually be out there and take your dog or your kids,
or all the above,
or all of the above, or just your spouse or a good friend, and be out there and enjoy what nature has to offer for us even during the winter months. So I mean, that's one way for us to be able to battle those blues, is just making sure that we're getting exercise, we're being active in whatever way, shape, or form you want to do that. So
and I think people sometimes they don't realize, or maybe as they get involved with their life, their jobs, their families, whatever, maybe everybody's got a different situation. Maybe they're a single parent and they're working 3 jobs and they're like, I'm getting 2 hours of sleep. Sometimes things pile up, and how can we, as a group here, how can we give you information? How can we make it a little bit better? Step back and say, you know what? Katie just brought up a good point. You're hitting it right on the head, because there's a lot of us that maybe can't exercise, but if they're out,
drive,
get
out. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe just being a little more active, getting up. If you're used to potentially, I'm just throwing this out there. You get into a slump, you're sitting on the couch, you're eating, get off that couch.
Yeah.
Get up. Try to tidy up something. Back to the organizational show, a great segment, which, by the way, I did take your advice and did take some pictures last night. And I did dump about 30 pictures. That was the most, I almost started crying. My kids were laughing. You could check that out on YoungerLife, of course, .org/live, and some of the stuff. And stuff is stored up on YouTube as well for YoungerLife Live. But you know what I'm saying.
Another idea I had when you just said, if you're on the couch, get up. Something else that I know we are guilty of this at home too. It gets to be winter. It's cold. It's dreary. Dark earlier. So a lot of times I don't open all the blinds in the house.
Yes.
So if you are stuck at home or find that does affect you, we come and go a lot. So I feel like we have plenty of light.
Oh,
we are
sure.
certainly out in the light enough. But if you are at home a lot, open all those blinds. Get that natural light in. It feels so good.
First thing in the morning, even
Yeah,
when the sun really hasn't come up. That's the best time to do it because then you can see it coming up and
No,
you're
that's a
excited
great
for the
idea.
day ahead of
Yeah.
you. That can definitely be a mood booster.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if you ladies don't mind, I had mentioned this several times on the air this morning, leading into Younger Life Live. And if you're watching us, I want you to know, write down this phone number. It's going to be handy in a few minutes. 219-861-1632. 219-861-1632. Katie has brought along so many unbelievable prize packs.
Sweet.
I can't believe, like, portion plates, water bottles,
Oh, wow.
first aid kits to give away to some lucky listeners that are either listening to us on the radio, maybe they're streaming us on the free TuneIn Radio app, or maybe they're watching us or all the above.
Yeah.
We want you to call in and talk about the blues. But how does it affect you? We'll chat a little bit about that, but get your thoughts ready on that because we're going to ask you to call in in a few minutes. I'll just say a few minutes.
Even some ideas that they might have for someone that, how they keep busy in the winter.
Yeah, because I'd love to hear from other people. I mean, I know how I keep busy in the
Right.
winter and how I stay positive, but it'd be awesome to hear from some of you listeners out there and viewers out there. What do you do to keep
Yeah.
yourself happy and healthy during the winter months?
So that number is 219-861-1632. In fact, I'm going to open up the lines.
Okay.
And what I'll say is to anybody that calls in, and if you get a busy signal, just, don't sweat it. You could call anytime you want during the show. We want this to be your show. You could text us, an automatic text us at 630-975-0970, 630-975-0970. Text us. I'll say your name. We'll do shout outs like we did for the birthday boy, Jeremy.
That's right.
Woo! Are you making anything special for dinner tonight, kid, or
We
what?
haven't really decided. We have a couple different sports practices and stuff. So I said, what do you want to do for dinner? We might be having family come over for cake or something. I don't know yet.
Fun.
So right now we're talking tacos. We're going to see.
We just got a nice little message from Sally S., who's listening to us in Chicago, Illinois.
Hey, Sally.
She's streaming us
Fantastic.
on WIMSradio.com. There's so many ways to do this via social media. She said, you know what? I had the blues this morning, but you guys with your energy are giving me a big smile. Big round of applause. Sally from Chicago.
We're happy to hear that.
That's simple. And by the way, Ryan Beth is our executive producer.
Yes.
So
He's
as you
awesome.
guys, chime in and filter in, Ryan will take care of you. We'll get all your pertinent info and we'll get you out these wonderful prizes. So
Sounds good.
Just thinking about cool stuff like that. But let's talk a little bit about it because I think there's a lot of folks out there that may be experiencing the blues.
Right.
They don't know what the symptoms are. And they're saying, oh my gosh, that is so me. So if you wouldn't mind, Katie, can we expand a little bit just, on the definition, obviously?
Absolutely.
If
And
you
the
wouldn't mind.
symptoms. I mean, clearly I am, I'm not an expert on anything, just read up on it. I would love to hear the official symptoms. I'm sure they differ, but still.
Yeah, and that is a good thing to say. They do differ between each individual. So it just, it just depends on you and yourself and how your body reacts to different things. But most of the time we can say someone who has the winter blues, you're just going to feel down and out all the time. Like today on a day where it's snowing and it's actually beautiful out there, you are not going to want to go outside at all. You don't want to cook. You don't want to bake. You don't really want to talk to your friends on the phone. Those sorts of things. But there's also the side of where you might actually need more help than that. So you have to really pay attention to, is this something that I'm feeling all the time, whether it's winter or summer, or am I just feeling this, right now? The sun's not shining and I really wish we had the beach open today.
Well, me
Or,
too. Take that every day.
Yeah. But the lack of motivation is probably one of your key points to noticing, do I really have the winter blues? Because it's just not there. I'm dreading going to work. I'm dreading being with my family, even, those sorts of things. And that there's not really anything that you feel as though there's not really anything that can kind of boost your spirit. So that's where we say, start taking care of yourself. Start focusing on those things that maybe you've kind of let go over the winter. Because, I mean, how many of us from Thanksgiving through the new year just eat cruddy food?
Well,
right?
my sister this morning, it's funny that you say that. My sister said the funniest thing that she had read a reason that people dislike January is because, we've eaten a lot of crappy food.
Stuff.
And
Yeah.
so, and very good food, but I mean,
Right.
maybe
Yes.
not good for us.
Right.
So you've got a little bit of extra weight on you, you get a little washed out
Yep.
because you're not out in the sun. So you're a little paler. And you're broke from Christmas.
Christmas.
She said
Oh,
she
yes.
just read those things, and I said that is funny. That ties in
Yes.
so good to the winter blues. You know what I
Oh,
mean? I'm
yeah.
sure lots of people feel that. She had read that, and somebody posted that on Facebook.
Yeah.
3 reasons to hate January, which are those. So you got to find the positive in that.
Yes, exactly.
But I do. I love that. One reason to love January, you start adding minutes back to your day.
Yay.
Right? Yay!
Start
That's
getting more
awesome.
daylight
Yes.
every day.
Well, and hopefully you set a resolution, a New
That's
Year's resolution
it.
that you can really, focus on that goal and say, hey, I'm going to achieve this year.
Yeah.
And that's one thing to really, put into play. Hey, if you set a resolution, stick to it. Even though you're
Any
having,
goal.
any goal.
That was one of the things in the information on combating it was,
Yes.
set a resolution or a goal of any sort, that it is a positive behavior. And it really does help. And the studies were showing in the, men and women both had a more positive response and lower depression.
Yes.
And more positive feelings in general, which is obviously what we always want to shoot for.
Exactly.
Be a little more
Yeah.
positive. Look for that little bit of positive everywhere, and it does make a big difference.
Well, and it doesn't have to be a goal specifically around like better eating or
Right.
or more exercise. Like some friends of mine have set financial goals for the year, or just family goals. I'm going to make sure that we have one family day every
Yeah.
month. Those
How about
sorts of
this one?
things.
How about eating dinner? How about,
Yeah,
doing
absolutely.
stuff like that?
Yeah,
reading a
absolutely.
book.
Yeah.
Saying we'll read a book.
All right, everybody put on their headsets.
Oh, good deal.
Live call in line. And if you're watching us, 219-861-1632. Good morning and welcome to Younger Life Live. Who's this?
Good morning, Rick. It's Dwayne from Main Street. How are you?
Dwayne, how are you, buddy? How's your day going so far, my friend?
Oh, just driving into your region. It's sunny and snowing, so there should be a snowball someplace.
I am so with you. Talk to me a little bit. Obviously, winter blues. Does this affect you at all, Dwayne? I mean, talk to me a little bit about yourself, if you wouldn't mind.
I think it can affect anybody if you don't get out. Fortunately, I like to ski. So, I get out every time I find a chance to get away for a few hours. I'll run up to Jones, Michigan, or wherever, and get out and make some turns. Even if it's for an hour, you get out.
Absolutely, and that just helps to boost your mood and make you enjoy the fact that we live in Northwest Indiana or Michigan or Chicago. The Northwest area of the United States is going to get cold weather and snow. It's inevitable. So
Let me ask you, do you feel like getting involved on any platform, Dwayne? I mean, do you think that
that's
there's anything out there?
The reason I called is there's so many community organizations that would love to have a few hours of your time every week. Give them your time, your expertise, your input, or just sit and chat, do something at a meeting. But there's so many organizations that need volunteers. It gets you out of the house,
Absolutely.
it gets you moving, makes you get dressed. There's just so much to be done around the Michigan City community and all of northern Indiana, really. And there's plenty of things you can do. Just look, find something on Facebook, find something you like. Dive into the phone book, look for different things, theaters, and who knows what, churches.
I love that you said volunteer. I love that. I think that is huge. It always feels good for everyone to help someone else in any way, really.
Absolutely.
So that's a great mood booster. I think that's one of the number one things to our information states. If you can, yes, help anyone, volunteer.
Make a difference in the lives of others. You could
It
teach your
feels
children and
good.
grandchildren. It feels good.
Absolutely.
It is good. And by the way, it's not always about the money side of it. Volunteering sometimes is a lot better for a lot of organizations because you're there. You're reading that book to that elderly and wiser person that can't
That's
see
it.
anymore. You're going grocery shopping. You're bringing someone to church. You're doing a walk to make a difference for breast cancer. You know what I mean, Dwayne? I mean, you see it.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think I spend more time volunteering than I do working anymore.
It's good.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And if you don't mind me asking, are you a younger man? I mean, you don't have to say your age, but I mean, are you at a point in your life where you're past a certain point and you have now, moved into a new direction with life in general? You know what I'm saying? Or what, age group? Younger?
I'm 53. But yeah, I'm fortunate enough to be at a spot in life where I can spend more time volunteering than working. So
awesome.
Bravo. I love it.
Well, listen, I'm going to have our executive producer, Ryan Beth, connect with you and get all your pertinent information. And Katie Sarver over here brought some really cool stuff like water bottles and first aid kits and portion plates. And you are a winner. You're a winner, ladies and gentlemen. Woo, woo, woo. Thank you so much, Dwayne. We really appreciate your insight, and we really appreciate you listening this morning and viewing as well. Have a good one.
Oh, no problem. Every morning. Thank you.
Thanks,
all right. There you go.
Bye-bye.
Every morning.
I love it.
Are you listening out there at the Younger Life Live Tech Studio Center? You know who you are. We are here for you. I'm Rick Federici.
I'm Mary Anthony.
Katie Sarver, of course, here. It is so great. That's what I'm saying. The energy is just absolutely phenomenal here in the room. And again, a lot of people are absolutely affected here with what's going on here on AM 1420 WIMS, the talk of the South Shore, streaming live at WIMSradio.com. One of the things that I want to talk to you about is, outside of the things that are going on, talk to me if you wouldn't mind. So some people may say it doesn't affect me. I'm one of those guys, I got to be honest with you. I love life. I love getting up. Mary, I know I'm not going to speak for you, but I'm going to throw it to you.
Too.
So do I.
And I say try something new. Yes. I mean, I know being outside is not for everyone in the really cold, but we're hoping to go ice skating this weekend. It's been
awesome.
we've really wanted to do that a couple different times, and it's just not been good. So
all right, hold that thought. Headsets back on, ladies. 219-861-1632. Good morning, and where are you calling from today?
I'm calling from the south side of Chicago today.
All right, talk to me a little bit. Do you get the winter blues? Talk to me.
I've discovered, no, I don't get the winter blues anymore. I used to have a big issue with it. However, over the last several years, I've come to understanding of meditation and how it helps. Yeah. So it's no longer winter blues.
That's a great idea.
Okay, so how did you turn yourself on to meditation? This is a very cool spin because I know a lot of people do yoga to put themselves and stuff like that. Talk to me a little bit about that.
In my personal experience and growth, I just came to realize certain things within myself that I was struggling with, and I had come to the understanding that although everybody was having their own interpretation of how to help resolve whatever issue I was going through, I realized that ultimately nobody really teaches you anything. Mm-hmm. They just help you remember, because at least the understanding that I have is if we come from the same source, one source of all creation, and we are having this physical experience through the gift of that one source of creation, that within you is the same spark, and within that, what I mean by spark is it's that stillness. And in meditation, at least in my growth as I was growing, I come to understand that in meditation you have this ability to become still, and you have this ability to connect to that aspect that's interconnected to everything. So I said, what, I'll try it on my own. I'll start with I'll try meditation. I'll see what it does. And at first it's really tricky because there's this understanding. Well, I have all these thoughts. How do I stop the thought? And I've come to understand that in meditation, it's not about stopping thought. It's coming to the understanding that there's two types of thought. There is self-generative, which you can determine by, if you're having a thought, if you stop focusing on it, if the thought ceases to exist, that's a self-generative thought. There's also, because we all come from the same one source of all creation, that means all knowledge is all within an aspect that we can all interconnect into, that there are thoughts that you'll come across they're not yours, in a sense. They don't feel necessarily as yours. And so you get an idea, or you get this spark of inspiration, or you get this desire to help somebody, or you have this compassion for this experience you come across. Those defined experiences are ultimately to help you resolve through the physical aspect. And meditation is just more of, it's not about not having thought, it's about not connecting yourself to the thought. I'll let the thought be and just kind of move forward. And I personally have realized that just that small time frame, 10, 15, 20 minutes, that you just sit down for a moment, you let everything go, any worry, every thought, every concept, every concern, and just be present. And in that presence, you get all your answers. And that's why I say, like, you can't resolve. Nobody teaches you anything. You just remember, because the spark that's within you remembers all, knows all. The physical perspective is just an operating tool, and that's what we are. We're the physical operating tool, and when we connect to that part of ourselves, our answers will ultimately come. They don't come within you. It's not a voice that says, this is God and this is what you got to do. No, it's a realization that God's never separate from you. I just heard this the other day. God's circumference is nowhere, but is centered everywhere.
Dude, excellent input. Are you working right now? Where you're calling in from?
Yeah, we're in a slow pace due to the snow and the ice. The barge working is kind of slow, so I had a moment, and I was like, you know what? I remembered on the way in that you were talking about this, and I figured, I was like, you know what? I got to call. So
I love that. And, I love that you
Thank
said
you.
10, 15, 20 minutes. I know I just for myself to imagine someone meditating, you think, oh, they're sitting and it's silent and they're sitting there for an hour. So I love that you said that. It doesn't have to be that. It isn't necessarily that. That's really nice to know. And I think that's great. Good idea. I'm glad it works, and I'm glad it works for you. And maybe I would definitely give that a try sometime. I don't get winter blues. I enjoy winter, but I think everyone could use a little bit of center every now and then. Yeah. So that's a really good point. I love that.
And again, like you were saying, just a small time frame. If you can just do the 5 minutes, even 5 minutes, 5 minutes of not focusing on something other than the fact that I'm here, I'm breathing, I exist, and just if you can add just that 5 minutes within your day, you'll realize that everything falls into play. Everything comes into easy. And
all right.
You were saying, most people say, meditation, they think ahs and ums and so forth and so on. It's not that.
Yeah.
Make it your own. It's your own experience. Have fun with it.
All right, hold on. Don't go anywhere. Everybody, just for a moment, look at your cameras. Everybody look at the cameras together. Dale, just a positive thought. Silence for a moment. Thank you, Dale. Have a blessed day.
Have a good day. Thanks for calling.
You guys are great.
Thanks.
That's what I'm saying.
I love that.
I want you to get involved. While Dale's talking.
I love to hear other people's
so
ideas.
do I.
Oh yeah. Well,
Katie,
he said
think?
I used to have the winter blues, and then I figured out on my own what I could do to combat it. Yeah. That's outstanding. And each person is different.
Right.
That's just it. You can sit here and listen to us all, but we might get your thinkers going.
Yeah, get your wheels turning.
Yes.
But yeah, absolutely. I think you have to. I think the point is keep trying something.
Yes.
Sure,
do something.
Sure.
Do the exercise. Do the setting of the goal. A good point in the research too is try to eat. You don't have to set the goal to eat healthy and nothing but, because sometimes indulging, that's the most fun.
Guys,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Moderation.
Well, it should be like
everything in moderation except
rule,
laughter. Remember,
right?
that was my favorite.
I love that.
That was my
We
favorite.
kind of look at it as an 80-20 rule. 80% of the time you are doing the best that you can with your healthy eating, but you got to splurge every now and then.
That makes it
So-
fun
Yes.
too. That's a great winter thing. Like I said,
Exactly.
sometimes it's totally
yeah.
like my family. I have children, so we have to be careful what we binge watch. But we've been binge
Yes.
watching Full House,
But
which
there's
is so
nothing
great.
wrong with that. It's wholesome.
You know
It's
what I mean?
good.
And, well, on a real crappy, especially those couple days that were so cold, I didn't want the
Right.
kids outside.
Sure,
So
yeah.
other than to and from someplace, I didn't want to play outside, and it was so damp. Like
Yes.
this kind of cold, it's not as
Oh.
wet.
Yes,
You're not
exactly.
soaking wet through. So we would stay in, have some junk food and binge watch and laugh together.
Yes,
That's so nice.
that's good. That's family bonding. That's good for the
it is.
soul.
It's fun.
so
It
Good
feels
for the
good.
family
It is
union.
so
Can I throw this out there for years and years and years? My daughters, who are now women, for those that are just listening for the first time, reviewing for the first time here, Younger Life Live, Mary Anthony, Rick Federici, Katie Sarver here. My daughters loved Full House, and obviously my wife loved all the guys, and I thought
I
it was
just
great.
think it's funny.
It is such a great, and I'm a jammer, so I
Yeah.
always appreciated that side of it. They're all still phenomenal people in their own right in real life. All these years passed by. We just were out in San Francisco. We flew into San Francisco, my two daughters, my wife and I. We got there, and we, of course, do the touristy things, but we went to go see the Painted Ladies section.
awesome.
We had a picnic in the park, looking at the actual buildings. And I have to tell you, it just brought me back at the time I was a very young father. I still think
Yeah.
I'm young, by the way. Only as old as you feel and look.
That's right.
Staying younger longer, that's the deal with the
That's
show.
right, yeah.
But it was so neat as parents. And like you said, you will look back on this as a mom you have 5 children that span a variety of ages.
Right.
But you will look back on this and some of these memories that you make with your family, with your children and things like that. This will get you out of the blues.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? These
Yeah.
cool things, you know?
Yes.
So-
Yeah.
It's fun.
Absolutely.
So there are lots of different things. The food thing, though, was saying it because of your vitamins. You know, if you're taking healthier vitamins
Right.
or eating well balanced a little bit, you know, making sure you're getting in fruits and veggies.
Yeah,
That
fruits
was
and
a good
veggies.
in the research. The vitamins alone
And water
make you feel better.
consumption is a big thing too. You know, you
Oh,
really
good
want to make
point.
sure that you're getting at least 8 ounce glasses of water a day, because it's going to help to hydrate your body, you know, and just keep you feeling healthy. So, and that's a big thing too, because you know most of us probably get dry skin during the winter time.
Sure.
Yeah,
Keeping
yeah.
yourself
Absolutely.
hydrated though is going to help to kind of decrease that, and not make it as bad.
Yeah,
so,
I'm a little
you know,
chapstick
yep.
holic. You know what I mean? It's the
Oh,
same
yes.
thing. It's like, ooh,
Yes,
it feels, you know.
exactly. Yeah.
the
So
cold.
just, you know, focusing on fruits and vegetables, trying something new even. That's you know, that's
Yeah.
one thing that we love to do as a family, is just what can we try that would be new? And I love to cook. So
And
I'm okay with
can I
that.
ask you, so what would you, as a family, so you're talking about an activity, food, or all the above? What do you think?
I mean, for me, doing like finding time for all of that is
Yep.
is just key to keeping yourself happy and healthy throughout the winter season. You know, just it's a bonding time, no matter if you're watching a show with each other, or if you're cooking something together,
Sure.
or if you're just playing a board game.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter what age your kids are either. I mean, mine range from 6 months to 7 years. So
Holy cow.
You know, we find something to do that kind of we can interact with everyone.
By the
So-
way, you're at a perfect point with some of your children where you could actually have the 7-year-old help with the 6-month.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Oh,
She
and
does
bond,
all the
You
time.
know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's cool.
Yeah.
And rewarding them, because remember, all of us can be affected by this, no matter if you're
yes.
in your 40s or 20s, or you're in your tweens, or in this case, you're a youngster. Mom, dad, the person who is the, you know, maybe the babysitter, you could all make a difference and make all that happen.
Well, and I mean,
you
I
know?
can say just from my own personal life, my 4-year-old son, he's got to be doing something. Like he's 4. He has a
busy.
ton
I
of
have a
energy.
4-year-old
But
too.
yes.
Oh.
And so in the morning before we leave for school, he goes out and shovels the driveway.
Good.
When there's snow, you know.
Good.
I mean,
So
that is his
cute.
thing, but he's got to be outside. He loves that. The kids need fresh air. They need to burn off energy.
Yeah,
And-
absolutely.
And you need to find things that you can help your kids to do that with. And so
Mm-hmm.
that, that's just key, I think, to
I just had a very, very interesting text, and we threw out the text number 630-975-0970. You're listening and, of course, viewing Younger Life Live here. Mary Anthony, Rick Federici, Katie Sarver, our in-studio guest. Someone just brought up something to me that I'm really not familiar with, and maybe we could expand on this a little bit for those. They do get the winter blues. They're listening to us in Florida via the live stream. They did check out yesterday on YouTube after our show to see
really?
what we look
Great.
like. They said, wow,
Awesome.
you guys look nothing like you sound, kind of
That's
attitude.
funny.
But I
love
like
it.
that.
It's funny. Yeah.
But they said they get very depressed when they don't see the sun. And more importantly, they utilize a light apparatus
Yes.
in their life. And I guess it helps them. So I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
Could either one of you expand on that?
Well, there is research out there that shows like purchasing an artificial light. And off the top of my head, I can't think what they're.
Is it just called a UV
A
light?
UV light might be it, and just having that artificial light for the
Yeah.
sunlight, right there, just so you can see the sun. You can, and not necessarily even feeling it. It's not about. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying, "Hey, everybody should go to a tanning," but that's not what
Right.
No,
we're
no.
saying.
Certainly not. Right.
Right.
What we're saying is, find some sort of light that can actually
Sure.
help you to boost your mood, because I mean, it is true. It's if you didn't see sunlight for stuff. I mean, think of an
Certainly.
individual has to be inside in an office with no windows like you have.
I
here,
love
you know?
windows.
Right.
It
I'm
makes
like
it a little bit
glass
more-
bowl kid.
So yeah, that's definitely the individual who contacted you. She's probably loving Florida when there's sun down there, and it helps to take away the winter
It
blues.
feeds that, right.
Yeah.
It feeds that need. I'm trying to pull it up to get a little.
Yeah, you know what? And I was going to say, because some people may not know that might be actually something great for them. The funny
Right.
thing, too, is if you look at sunlight. Somebody may have a home that maybe they have to cover their windows in the winter.
Absolutely.
But even
Exactly.
though the light still comes in, I'm still talking when you said that, Mary, opening up the blinds.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Katie, you would say, let the light of day in. And I know sometimes it could be a little bit cold, but give it a little bit, a half hour.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It will do wonders.
Get
for
up.
you. I mean,
Be
it really
close
will.
to
Yeah.
as close to that light as you can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So-
I think too, people sometimes may, and I'm going to use this word lightly, and I want to, make sure everybody knows here at Younger Life Live, you've got our host. That's myself, Rick Federici, Mary Anthony, Katie Sarver are of course our guest host today. We're not doctors. We don't play
no.
doctors.
Oh, no.
We're giving you information.
Not even close.
But I want folks to know that,
Right.
and if we tell you something, I think, Katie, you could jump on this a little bit. With our partners over at IU Health LaPorte Hospital in LaPorte, Indiana, I think one of the things I'd like to, kind of throw your way is, you're the expert in your side, what you do there, but we should always kind of point these people to a doctor or a professional,
Absolutely.
correct?
Yeah. Oh, yes, always. If you ever have questions that would be of true, health concern, you want to reach out to a healthcare provider.
Right,
Whether
especially
it's-
these little things, if they don't
Yeah.
help,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? That's the winter blahs where these little things will at least help brush it off.
Exactly.
If it lasts longer than that,
Yeah.
certainly I would say please call your doctor.
Yes.
There are medical things they can help you with that these
Yeah.
little, if these things are not changing your
Right. And you want to
attitude
just
and
make
your
sure that you
feeling.
get the appropriate care necessary. I mean, that's
Oh,
important
for sure.
for your overall health.
Sure,
I mean,
absolutely.
So, I mean, there's lots of things that you can do to hopefully prevent it getting even worse on your own, but it never hurts to seek help from an individual who is definitely licensed and okay to do that.
Upcoming shows, you and I are going to take a challenge with backpacking. We'll talk about
Oh, I
that.
can't wait. Speaking of getting outside, that
I
is so nice.
so love it outside. I can't wait to bike. I want the challenge. The challenge is I want to ride with some folks on a bike, and I want you to come with. So we'll talk about it. And you don't even have to have a big or a cool bike.
Oh, no.
We'll take
I
care
have
of
an
it,
old
right?
granny bike. Who cares?
Right,
Still,
beach
I love it.
cruiser, right?
Yeah, mine's really like a 10
There she
speed,
is,
but it's an
Mom.
old crappy one. I don't care. You know what I mean? It's old. And, I love it.
Right.
So.
All right. Well, something that I think we're going to challenge each other to. We brought this up in earlier segments here on Younger Life Live, and Katie, I think you're going to like this one.
Okay.
We're going to have Chef Melody in our next
so
segment.
excited.
This
Yes.
is awesome. You know how cool she is.
I'm just going to come and sit out here in
You
the
could-
studio.
you could
Join us. How cool, right? I
Yes,
mean, really.
that's awesome. Very cool.
Especially you said you love to cook.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
that's-
Yeah.
And you want to know what? I have been in surroundings and at big events in the Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, where Chef Melody was at, and she captivates, hundreds, if not thousands of
That's
people.
so
neat. Yeah.
Tells them, "Hey, try this dip," and then she makes this dip. And it's like you taste, you're like, oh my gosh, it tastes just like cheese. This can't be good for you. And it's like has no ingredients that are bad.
Right. Oh,
it's
yeah.
all
That's
healthy.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's my
You know?
problem, I think. I get, stuck in cooking ruts as most people do, I
Oh,
think.
sure.
But it's not always we joke, those old commercials, the butter tins where they have like butter out of everything. It's so, I know, not good for you, but nothing browns a chicken breast better than a little bit of butter.
A little bit of butter. Everything
So
in
I'm gonna-
moderation.
that's right.
Everything in moderation.
That's right.
Yeah.
Kyle
So-
just said that you're going to win, that I'm going to lose because you're much better looking. He goes, I just saw you guys for the first time.
That's too
Federici,
funny.
been listening to you for years. We'll take that, Mary.
Oh, please.
Jeremy, happy birthday.
How funny.
Oh, this is great. Well, Younger Life Live, we air the show, of course, Monday through Friday, 9 to 10. We've got lots of great ideas, and we're trying to live a lot longer, and we're trying to do things in a younger style fashion, no matter what age you are. Really, you're only as old as you feel. I have
That's
friends.
right.
Right.
You guys know this, and you guys probably could, have witnessed this too, as just moms and dads and folks that are out there, even us here in studio. I have friends that act like I'll just use an age, but I'm not ripping age. Like they're 60, 70, 80, and they act like old frumps and curmudgeons.
Yeah.
And I've got friends that are, younger, older, and they're just active and vibrant. And you know what? They're staying healthy. You have to,
It's
get
a
into
mindset
life.
so much.
Yes.
I've
It is, you're
I've
right.
said forever. There are, Jeremy and I have been married for a long time. We have 5 kids. There are days we feel 18.
Yes.
And then there are other days we feel 118. And
Right.
it's true. It just depends on, the day. It's different all the time. You never know,
Absolutely.
And, but you have to stay positive and say, yeah, who cares? So what? So you feel 118 today. So what?
It'll be better tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm going to jump on that.
Better.
Both you ladies, that was like an in stereo moment here on Younger Life. Like I was going to go in stereo. If you're watching us, it's youngerlife.org/live. You could see the shows afterwards on youtube.com. Just get up there and search for Younger Life. And it's really cool. But you guys were saying stuff. It's keeping active. It's getting out there. And you know what? It is hard for a lot of folks. Not everybody's from the same mold or make. What you could do is maybe take a step in this winter blues thought. Like maybe today, right now, you're like, it's gray. I'm not happy. I've got a lot of things going on in my personal life. Okay, step back. Open up a blind.
Yeah.
Think some positive thoughts. I know there's a lot of people out there that everybody, is different, even when it comes to depression. And some people get so totally depressed.
Right. Oh, it's such a sad situation.
But,
for those people.
and that unto itself, and again, we're not doctors, always consult a doctor.
Please.
You've got help. We could point you to the right people, and it's up to you. But it takes that first step to try to move in that right direction, ladies.
Oh, absolutely. And you just have to constantly keep telling yourself, even if, let's say, you fail at that first step, try again. Because what's it going to hurt? Don't give up just after the first.
Or try something a little different.
Try
if you
something
have to,
different. Because what works for one may not work for
absolutely.
everyone.
Another in the research, another great suggestion that I thought was fun is everybody loves a little bit of anticipation, so plan something, whether it's plan a vacation. And if you can't do that, I remember once as a child, in the middle of winter, everybody had a little bit of the winter blues. And I remember my mom comes from a large family. My mom and dad planned a little beach party in the house.
Yeah.
With aunts and uncles came over.
Love
It's
it.
funny. I was in first grade. But there's pictures.
Yes.
I might have been second grade. There's pictures of all of us in Hawaiian shirts in the house in the middle of winter. That's fun.
Yeah.
Do those things. I think that's in the research. That's what struck a chord with me, thinking, I remember my parents doing that. And it was funny because, there's my aunts and uncles doing hula hooping in the house in the middle of the winter. I think that's awesome. And I think, especially now as a grown up, I thought, whatever, it's fun. All my cousins are over. Whatever, it's a good time.
The big question is, did we put a blanket down first? Did we really set the mojo and the mode?
They actually they had a little bit of sand, as in to play.
Yeah.
They had a little for a prop on a little blanket.
I'm all about it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's
just
awesome.
fun. And
Little Bob
bravo.
Marley in the background
Yeah,
playing.
no kidding. How fun. That's
Don't
such a good
worry.
idea. So, if you set something up, if you try to plan an event, even something little, I think that is a great valid point too, and helps you look forward to that. It's fun.
I can agree 100% with that. Yeah.
That is absolutely wonderful. Winter blues is the thing. And maybe you're out there right now and you're thinking, well, you know what? This all sounds great. Or maybe taking a first step is the way to go. If you want to chime in, maybe there's a thought for you. 219-861-1632. 219-861-1632. Ryan Beth is our executive producer. If you call, we love you. People are massively chiming in on the instant text as well. And I know a lot of folks, it's funny because people that are chiming in is we're listening at work. We can't use the phone.
Yeah,
but we
know.
we can don't you get in trouble, but you keep it listening, Throw it out there. There's a great picture on Facebook of Katie Sarver, Mary Anthony, of myself, Rick Federici, just the smiles, because you want to know why. You try to take each day one day at a time, and everybody's got problems, personal, professional. Everybody's got something going on, but everybody handles it a little bit differently. And I want to remind folks out there, there's always help. Yep. There's always someone to talk to. And that's what we're trying to. And then I also think too, there are ways to tweak your life. There are ways to help yourself. And I look at ways every day to be a better father, to be a better husband, to be a better colleague. You got people that'll come into work and be uniqua. You got to go with the flow of life. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
So
yeah, absolutely.
From the Katie, you might be able to answer this. This states in here about your sleep patterns too. How important it is to, definitely shoot for your 7 or 8 hours. But if you oversleep, it's as bad as undersleeping. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, really, it's you really should be getting approximately 7 to 8 hours of sleep.
I read that.
every
I was
night.
kind of a little surprised by that.
I mean, I don't.
I
I'll be
don't
honest,
either.
but
I
I have a
certainly
6-month-old,
don't, but
so
yeah,
that
I know,
makes it
right.
a little bit more. But I think a lot of us you think, okay, I didn't get this done, so I'm going to stay up way past the time that I should go to bed, knowing good and well that I should be up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do whatever, and then now I don't have enough sleep. Or the flip side of that
That's what I was
is,
surprised about.
oh gosh, I slept for 10 hours and I feel awful. Why do I feel awful? Because your body really just needs that, 8 hours.
And
of
by the way,
sleep
you
to
have the headache to
recharge.
go along with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just sluggish and I should have started my day 2 hours earlier and like those sorts of things. So it's really focusing on getting your good amount of sleep and setting that alarm and doing your best to wake up. I mean, I'm guilty.
Oh, I'm a
gonna
snoozer.
say that
I mean,
right
I am
there.
a push
yes.
the snooze.
Oh, yeah. Yes. And my husband's always like, why don't you just set one alarm for Pete's sake?
Nope,
Sorry,
it's
can't
okay.
do it. Snooze.
That's
snooze.
me. And that was something I would love
Yeah.
to.
So, I mean, we're all guilty of that. And maybe that can be, your first step to trying to.
Sure.
to
About
get in.
about the light we were talking about, it's called a light box.
Oh, okay.
It says it's like 30 minutes a day is actually as effective as an antidepressant. Which I was
Wow. Yeah.
shocked to read that as well.
That's
you know.
awesome. Yeah.
I mean, for someone that is really serious, they may want to look into that. You know, and
yeah. It can't hurt.
it can't
right?
hurt,
So
that's for sure,
give
you
it
know?
a try. Yeah.
All right, you're listening and watching Younger Life Live here with Gerard Media LLC. And of course, the Younger Life Live tech crew has been absolutely phenomenal.
Right.
Each day we work on some new things. We love your input. Whether it's talking a little bit about stuff going on, whether it's posting it up on Facebook. We love to hear about the different things. I'm really stoked about Chef Melody coming in, upcoming outdoor events. But man, we have got some great shows about, how we could stay younger longer. And that's what this show is all about. Hence, the wonderful Younger Life Live show here
That's right.
with all of us today. So that's great. So the winter blues is something that, kind of when do you get out of that? Someone just chimed in and said, when do you get out of this? When do you get out of this funk?
I think it's different for each person because it depends on where do you see winter ending? Do you see winter ending when the weather is 60 plus degrees? Do you see it when the snow is finally gone? Like, how do you interpret when winter is over? And so I think that's a difficult question to answer, to be completely honest. For me, I would say that it's when I can plant my garden. That we're getting going. I'm getting those fresh veggies planted, all of that. So you really have to focus on like, when is the best time for you to say that I'm done with this? If it continues to go past warmer weather, longer days, the sunshine showing, those sorts of things, I think at that point in time, you really need to say to yourself, this can't be the winter blues.
Right.
It has to be something else, and you should seek professional care at that point in time.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I would say just from a realistic standpoint, when weather starts to change, days start to get longer, sun's shining more, if you're still feeling down and out, lack of motivation, no energy, feeling a little bit depressed, maybe having more emotion come over you, it's probably time to step in and ask for help from something else.
We just had a text message from someone asking if we could hear on Younger Life Live talk to, you both are chatting about your younger children. If we could talk to a pediatrician because they've got some questions. Sure. So I'm going to make it a point to potentially, by the end of this week or within the next few segments, let's get a professional pediatrician on.
And we have great pediatricians.
Right. And I think maybe then we could get some insight. And if you do have questions, please feel free to email those to me directly, Rick, R-I-C, at WIMSradio.com. Rick, R-I-C, at WIMSradio.com. Very easy. You could always chime in. You could text us. We've got ways to connect with us. And as we continue to expand the show and move in different directions, we're going to give you more and more platforms so it'll be so much easier for you to stay involved.
Especially if there's somebody out there that really would like a show centered around a specific topic that they struggle with or that they feel that they've excelled in, let us know. We would love to hear that and find out. You're never alone. You're never alone. There's always things that if you're experiencing it, I'm sure someone else is too, on the high and the low end. So let us know if there's an idea you have or something that you'd really rather talk about, and we would love to hear that and love to try to put that in the show.
Okay, cool. So do you think you could potentially get someone in here for us with all your context? Who do you think that we could potentially get here in studio to answer these pediatrician questions?
I think we could get Dr. Salazar to be on.
Awesome.
Yep, to help out, to answer some of those questions. So
This is
Tell me
great.
a little bit about that.
Yeah, I would love to.
So she's a newer pediatrician for us
Sweet.
at IU Health LaPorte Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
She's fantastic, very personable. I've met her a handful of times. So, but she was at our mommy meetup that we
cool,
had,
yeah.
and she was able to connect with some individuals who are newer moms or moms to be. So she gets out with the community, and that's fabulous. And
That's neat.
that's really what we try to do: interact the physicians with the community, because you should be able to know who you're coming to
Yeah.
and gain that trust for those individuals. So
I think that's a great
This
point.
is good.
yeah.
Well, and about the winter blues stuff, if you don't feel comfortable with your doctor, that's key, I think, is having a good relationship with your
Yes.
doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's your child's doctor, your pediatrician, or your own, primary care physician, I think you have to have a good relationship with them. So you can say, hey, something's not right, and they can really help you out, whether it's winter blues, any other issue you have. I'm excited to meet her. That would be
Yes.
really nice.
Oh yeah, I think you'll really enjoy.
Can you
it.
handle that for us there?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, sweet.
Absolutely.
We love it. Good deal.
That's why we love you. And I would love to tap into your knowledge and have you as like a floating guest host, because
love to do
I love
that.
her energy. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
definitely.
It's
I don't
really,
mind
really good.
Especially,
being
you said
on.
lots of community events. Please come, tell us about them.
Yes.
We would love that, and I'm sure listeners would love that, especially if they're anywhere in the area that they
Oh,
could.
sure. Yeah, and we're in our service area, so Michigan City, LaPorte, Stark County, those areas is where we really focus on screenings and free community events. So
Great.
I'd be happy to share.
Take advantage of free screenings, folks. Men,
yeah, definitely,
women. Recently, for the radio property WIMS, that's a flagship station of this broadcast from a radio standpoint, we did a really neat thing called a heart card.
Oh,
And it was phenomenal. We did it
amazing.
live on the air. And for a guy my age at 49 to be able to sit there live on the air, it was nothing. But by the time I was done with this heart card, not only did I feel relieved, I do go see the doctor several times a year. I do a lot of things. We had my cholesterol checked, my heart checked, different things going on. I knew a little bit more, and it actually pushed me on a different level to go back to my doc and say, hey, I need to have this checked or whatever.
Yeah,
and there were
sure.
so many folks that did that free heart card. In fact, you mentioned IU Health LaPorte Hospital in Northwest Indiana, and they've got in Stark County, all different areas, in the area. It's great because they offer these wonderful, wonderful things
would
for
love to do
folks.
that.
That's what I'm saying.
I
That's,
mean, you think
are you up for
normally-
that challenge?
Oh, I would love to.
See,
I'd
that's
love
great.
to do that.
It's a really good screening. It really is. I took advantage of it as well.
Yeah.
Just from a colleague standpoint and employee standpoint, you need to know those things about your
Mm-hmm.
health.
And it's not something you would normally know. I don't.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Only because
Yep.
unless you experience an issue, and by then there's a problem.
Right.
So it's nice to know, hey, you might be building up to a problem. Like the cholesterol and stuff. My father's always had high cholesterol. So even when we were children, they had tested my sister and I,
sure.
just
Yeah.
to make sure. I mean, we were way younger, but
Right.
it would be awesome to just be able to keep up on that. You never know, So
Absolutely.
that's how really neat. I'd love to hear about
Ladies,
those things.
1 minute. The singing voice will all of a sudden
already?
come in.
She's gonna sing us out.
Wow. I think you and I should do it. I'll bring my guitar.
Oh, you would
do a little
never-
I'm
Hendrix.
going to be
Do
here for
that.
that one too.
Little Hendrix, little wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Come on over.
I will cheer you on,
How
but
about
I am
this?
not the singer.
Younger Live. Come on, take over.
Yeah.
Little Jimi Hendrixism there. Katie, thank you so much for stopping
Thanks
by.
for having me
You've
here.
been
It was
absolutely great.
fabulous.
And you, Mary Anthony. So now you've thrown out like 5 million challenges to Rick Federici.
Yeah, there's too
This
many.
is
I'm
great.
swimming in them. But it's because I think we're both always, let's go try something new, and
And
I'm
that's
out for it.
awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
Good.
People are still chiming in. Killer show. I've learned a lot today. Thanks
Me
to our
too.
executive
Thank you
producer.
very
Hey,
much, Katie.
absolutely. Thank
It's
you
been
guys.
so
fun.
great. Okay, so we're going to talk to a pediatrician in our next upcoming segments. We're going to talk about great things when it comes to food and eating healthy.
Yes.
Chef Melody's going to be with us tomorrow.
Chef Melody, I can't wait to meet her.
All right, I'm Rick Federici.
I'm Mary Anthony.
And I'm Katie Sarver.
Everybody, look at your
Thanks.
camera. Say bye.
Bye.
We love you. Thanks to our tech team as well.
AM 1420, WIMS, Michigan City, a Girard Media Company station.